It's that time again, the summer transfer window, so it's time to look at one transfer that every Premier League club needs. Full focus right now is on Euro 2020, however already there is some exciting transfers happening surrounding the Premier League. But let's look at 20 more that could happen. Before we get into it, if you could please like the video, it really helps the videos in getting found, it would be very much appreciated. And at the end of the video, if you have learned about some new players and you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing to the channel, that once again would be very much appreciated. In alphabetical order, we kick off with Arsenal. Now I'll be using the sponsor for this video, OneFootball, to take a look at the player that they should sign. OneFootball is a brilliant app that you should download on your phone to look at how players really perform. It gives you access to all the stats you'd ever need for looking at a player. So for example, for Arsenal, their player that they should sign is Edmund Tapsoba. He's a centre-back at Bundesliga club Bayer Leverkusen, and he's just had a really good season. He's 22 years of age, and we can swipe to the right here and see that he's won 52% of his tackles, 31 matches played at 34, so a big part of their team, 54 tackles won and a 65% win rate on aerial duels, which is really good. What Tapsoba is brilliant at is passing out from the back, which is much needed in a modern day centre-back. Not only has he just been one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga, but in the whole of Europe this season. Now Tapsoba has actually been linked to Arsenal through The Athletic. He's a very in-demand player, however. He's caught the eye of many big European clubs, so he won't come cheap. So to keep up to date with all the transfer news, download OneFootball for yourself. The link is in the description to download it on your phone. Next is Aston Villa, and for them I've gone with Axel Tuanzebe, the Manchester United centre-back who has been on loan previously at Aston Villa. He was on loan at Villa when they got promoted to the Championship. He's then gone back to Manchester United, tried to earn a place, but through injury and other players taking the place in the first team, he hasn't been able to do that at Manchester United so far. So it seems a loan for him this summer is fairly likely, and I think Villa should go back in for him. It's not exactly like Villa need a centre-back, however, with him available and to give back up to Concert and Mings, I think Tuanzebe is a brilliant option. I know there's many Villa fans on the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think on Tuanzebe's return. Would you take him back? The next one is very interesting. Brentford. Now they're in the Premier League. What is their recruitment going to be like? A player who I could see them signing, who I talked about in my Euro 2020 players to watch, is Jonas Vind. He plays for FC Copenhagen in Denmark, and he's had a really good season. That's what's earned him that call up to the Danish squad at the Euros. He's an exciting prospect, and that's the type of players that Brentford go for. But the biggest reason as to why I think he could go to Brentford is they have connections with Denmark. They have many Danish players, a Danish manager, and those Danish connections really come through the owner Matthew Benham, who owns FC Midtjylland in Denmark. The striker is 22 years old, and he scored 11 goals with 4 assists in the league last season. He's 6'3" and has a well-rounded ability for a striker, which for a team like Brentford is a really good thing to have. He's a mobile player with good positioning, and he's just a player I could imagine in a Brentford shirt. Plus, if Ivan Toney leaves, then they will definitely be looking for another striker. I think Jonas Vind would be a good option. For Brighton, well, they might be looking for a replacement for Bissouma in midfield, so for them I've gone with Mady Camara. He's a 22-year-old midfielder currently at Saint Etienne. Camara is defensively strong, and that's exactly what Yves Bissouma has been in Brighton's midfield, so it's a like-for-like replacement. He won the 5th most tackles in the French league with 99 and also got the 4th most interceptions. The only difference that might put Brighton off signing Camara is his ability to carry the ball, which Bissouma has been really good at. Also with Bissouma's dribbling ability, 1.5 successful dribbles per 90 compared to Kamara's 0.9. But it's out of possession where Camara is really good with the 6th most attempted pressures, 689 and 200 successful. Very energetic in the midfield, and that is what they need to replace Bissouma with. With Burnley, well, they've got reported interest in both of Stoke City's centre-backs, so I've gone with Harry Souttar. He really is the typical Burnley signing, getting a top defender from the Championship. But it's not a bad thing to strengthen up at the back, is really good, and this is what Burnley need. There's quite a few defenders at the club with just a year on their contract, so signing another would be really good. Harry won 204 aerial duels with a fantastic win rate of 74%, so he would be a great addition at the back. They do need to freshen things up, and with reported interest anyway, this is a signing I could see happening. For Chelsea, well, I've gone for a player who is heavily linked to them at the moment, that is Hakimi. This is a signing that could happen with the financial troubles at Inter Milan. Chelsea just haven't paid the right fee yet. Hakimi is a very energetic fullback, attacking minded, and he would link up really well with the forwards. He would offer good width on the right hand side and quality passing from out wide. A great technical player, and when he's on the pitch he would be one of the main creators for the team. He would give Reece James a bit of competition at right back, and I think Hakimi would be a good transfer for them to make. For Crystal Palace, I've gone with Chelsea's midfielder Conor Gallagher. He was impressive in the midfield last season at West Brom, and I think he would fit really well into a Palace team which is built on defensive qualities. Maybe the style of play will be a little different under a new manager, and we don't know who that is yet. But whoever comes in as the manager, I think Conor Gallagher is a good loan signing to make. For Everton, now this is an interesting one. I wrote this player down, and since he's had some really good good performances in the Euros, and that is the Dutch right back Denzel Dumfries. And also what was interesting, I was just looking for right backs that they should sign. Dumfries stood out for me, and then when I searched his name up, I actually saw that there is rumours that Everton are interested in signing him. I was looking through quite a few right backs. It's a much needed position for Everton to improve in, and Dumfries would offer great attacking intent on the right flank. As said, he's had good performances in the Euros for the Netherlands, so it might get the attention of other clubs. At Leeds United, I wanted to recommend a player who would suit their high energy style of play, so a player like Riedler Baku would suit them perfectly. For Wolfsburg, he's played at right wing and right back, so he's versatile in that sense, and the reason why he would suit them perfectly is due to the fact he had the most sprints and intensive runs in the Bundesliga last season. He was in fact the only player to have 1,000 or more sprints in the Bundesliga, 1,061. You saw last season Rafinha joined the club and made an instant impact. I think Baku could be the same. This Leeds team is filled with players that work for the team in all departments. Baku would fit that mould. 6 goals scored with 8 assists in 34 matches. Someone to be able to play in attack and defence. He is the perfect player for Leeds. For Leicester City, they're moving quickly in the market. It seems like they're signing Sumer and Patson Daka, which is a really exciting transfer. Another player they've been linked to and I think would be a good transfer is Jonathan Tah. I remember him being a young prospect with potential, but now he's 25 with much more experience. They signed Fofana last season, and I think a player like Tah would impress again in their defence. He's a strong centre-back who would add depth to their backline, but whether another centre-back is needed is debatable. At Liverpool, I've gone with Rafinha. After impressing at Leeds United, there are links of him joining Liverpool, which I could imagine are real. It just seems like the kind of transfer that could happen and would be a good signing as they look to freshen up their team. Where we've seen Mane come from Southampton after doing well there, Rafinha would be a similar type of signing. And I could see him performing well in their team, making an impact straight away, kind of like what Diogo Jota's done already. For sure, a transfer to keep an eye on as it really could happen. For Man City, it felt like a waste of time looking away from their main targets. One of them is Harry Kane. It seems like this is a transfer that the club is trying to make happen. If Kane goes anywhere, then I'm sure it would be Man City. Although it's a big transfer that can seem hard to imagine happening right now, I think this could be a done deal come next season. A ridiculous addition it would be too. Having Kane's finishing on the end of chances created in their team is almost cheating. It would instantly make them favourites if they're not already. It's a scary thought actually. For Manchester United, I think they should go for Ruben Neves. I really think many clubs should be over the signing of Ruben Neves, and Manchester United in my opinion definitely should be as well. For a reported £35 million, that's a bargain for a player with such quality and experience at his age. There is some rumours that Arsenal are looking at Ruben Neves, however United do have that persuasion of Champions League football. Arsenal don't have any type of European football, so Manchester United would definitely be the better option for him. There's a few reports that are linking United to Neves, but nothing too strong, which does surprise me a little. I think United need a defensive midfielder and Neves would be a top option. For Newcastle United, it's as simple as signing Joe Willock on a permanent deal. Now, it's maybe a hard deal to do with Arsenal as they do want to keep him around after his goal-scoring form at Newcastle, but he was so useful for Steve Bruce's side and that's exactly why they need to keep him at the club. I remember in my January version of this video, I said they needed to go and get Josh Da Silva at Brentford. He's a similar type of player to give them something in attack from central midfield, but instead they went and got Joe Willock from Arsenal, and with the performances that he put in, they should definitely try and sign him permanently. At Norwich City, I've gone with Philip Billing, who has been linked to the club recently. With Bundia leaving, they need some more attacking quality. Now, Billing is a different style of player to Emi Bundia, but last season playing in a more advanced role for Bournemouth, he played a little higher up the pitch for them in the Championship and he suited it well. He scored 8 goals and got 4 assists, and as a midfielder who can play more attacking and at central midfield all over the pitch, he's a player that I like for those qualities that he's got. He's also a tall player, 6'3", so I think this is a good quality to add into your team. According to some reports, the manager Daniel Farke is a fan of Billing, so maybe this is a deal that will go through. For Southampton, I've gone with an interesting player here, Daryl DK. In January, I did a whole video looking into Barnsley Football Club. It's a really interesting project going on there, and they signed Daryl DK in January. From then until the end of the season, he scored 9 goals in the Championship with Barnsley and got them into the playoffs. Ralph Hasenhüttl has said in the transfer market they are looking for players with a lower price, and although many clubs are looking at DK since he's returned to Orlando City from his loan at Barnsley, I don't think this is a transfer that will be too expensive. He's got the potential to be a good striker who can give defenders a hard time. Trey Adams found his place in the team, and this could be a good link up between the two. He's a player I'd like to see back in England and maybe in the Premier League, and I think Southampton would be a good fit for him. For Tottenham, well, it's a bit odd to talk about transfers when they can't even sign a manager at the moment, never mind players. But one player they have been linked to and I think could be a good signing is Milan Skriniar. He's a centre-back, and I think Tottenham's defence is where they really need to freshen up the team, and you would really be adding a top quality centre-back into the defence with Skriniar. He's been part of Inter Milan's title-winning season, so to bring that type of player into the Tottenham team can only be a good thing. Similar to Hakimi, Inter Milan need the money, so if Tottenham went in for Skriniar, this is probably a deal that could happen. For Watford, this is a player who has been linked to the club recently, that is Glenn Kamara. He's currently playing for Finland in the Euros and has just won the league title with Rangers in Scotland, and that is what has drawn interest from many Premier League teams, but it seems like Watford might be the club that are making the move for him. He's a defensive midfielder who's calm in possession, got good passing quality, and especially in long range. To have this kind of player who can make the play tick for Watford back in the Premier League could be a really top signing for them to make. For West Ham, I think there is a few links to this player anyway, but I think they should sign Tammy Abraham. Maybe I've said this before, but I really think wherever he goes, he will be a good signing for whatever club signs him. In a West Ham team that have been creating great chances, closest to goal than any other team, the crossing from Aaron Cresswell on the left into Tammy Abraham, who has good height, I think there is a good combination and matchup here. It would be a more expensive signing for them to make, but a striker is needed, and I think Abraham would be a great option in the market. For Wolves, I've gone with Bournemouth forward Danjuma. Since they've been promoted to the Premier League, they've been great at signing exciting, pacey wingers, and Danjuma would be another one of those signings. At Bournemouth in the Championship last season, he scored 15 goals and got 7 assists. The only thing you could say is, do they need another one of these players? They've got Pedro Neto, and he is injured at the moment. Daniel Podence, who I think we're still yet to see the best from. Adama Traore as well, but if he leaves the club, then maybe Danjuma is a good replacement. With his form in the Championship, many Premier League clubs are looking at him, so if Wolves do want him, they've got to move quickly. So please leave a like on the video if you did enjoy and learn about some new players. Your support is very much appreciated. And for more insight and analysis, subscribe to Route 1.